And we're live. All right. I like salad. Happy New Year, everyone. We're rounding out the year with some thrash. We talked to Shamir from Destruction 2 days ago. And tonight we've got a pretty amazing guest. But before we get to our amazing guest, who thanks a lot for joining us, by the way, I'll just introduce myself really quickly. Jack Mangan. Tonight I'm rocking the Tool shirt. I'm Jack Mangan of the Metal Hall of Fame, MetalAsylum.net, and the Anti-Evil graphic novel. And really quick, next week, Rich and I are going to talk about our year-end wrap-up for 2020. So you don't want to miss that. We're going to talk about our top albums of the year. Anyway,
are we doing 20 or 25?
We'll figure it out. 2025, we'll do a bunch of albums for the best of the year. So in the Merciful Fate T-shirt.
Yes, Melissa. Good old Melissa, right? So Rich Catino from Metal Asylum also, and Brave Words and the Metal Hall of Fame. And we are joined by Mr. Rob Dukes of Generation Kill and Exodus. What's up, Rob?
How you doing, guys? Nice to meet you.
All right,
good, man.
Same here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. So you guys out there, Exodus fans and metal fans, if you have any questions, feel free to jump in, and we'll make sure we get them right to Rob. But Rob, I'm going to start right now with what's going to be our most controversial question of the night. So I understand you're a big hockey fan, right?
Yeah.
And I understand now. What's your team of choice?
The New York Rangers, and only the New York Rangers. Yeah.
That's the end of this interview.
Sucks. Yeah.
That's the end of this.
Fuck the Devils, you fucking piece of shit.
Fuck you. Fuck you, man.
I fucking hate that team. Fuck you. Fuck you. I liked you up until about 10 seconds ago.
Like I said, I wanted to start with the controversy. Like the rest of this interview is going to be downhill from here. It's going to be all smooth sailing. But no,
what a great start.
Yeah, great start. No, it's so when the world returns, man, let's go to a Coyotes game. Because
fucking A, man. I missed. But when the Rangers come, I had tickets to the Ranger Coyote game, and that was the last day. Was the night before. Was in Colorado, so they never played here. They never even came here. So man, I had fucking tickets and everything, man. Yeah, so
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we can talk metal now. I just had to get that off my chest. But yeah, this was actually unintentional. But yeah, I grew up in Jersey. Rich is still in Jersey, so we're that was my team. Anyway, we'll get to the metal. So Rich, why don't you go ahead? I know we got a bunch of questions for you, Rob. So Rich, go ahead. Why don't you?
Let's do it.
Well, why don't you start, Jack? Because you got to see some of the interview with him and Zetro. So let's start with that because that's the current thing that he's done, right, Rob? That's probably the most current thing you've done.
Yeah, that was the last thing I did.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, well, actually, let's just talk. Like you said, we don't have to fire a question. I really enjoyed. By the way, I watched over the past couple of days. I really enjoyed the interview with you and Zetro and Zetro's dogs also for a great contribution. But no, I love the conversation. I have a bunch of questions about that. But let me just ask, how did that feel, man? I mean, was this cathartic for you?
It was awesome, man. No, it was awesome, man. It was, look, I never had a fucking issue with Zet. I mean, I just. When the band needed a singer because he quit, I was in the right place, right time, and I ended up doing it. I did the best I could, and and the truth was, I never really. I met Zet maybe a handful of times through all the 10 years that I was in Exodus, and it was always like backstage with tons of people. We never had a moment where we were sitting down talking to each other, and so really that was the first time we spoke. And I told him, I said, look, I didn't want to talk to him before the interview. I said, man, I basically just give me the address. I'll pull up, have everything ready, and I'll sit down and we'll just start a conversation rather than, knowing each other first or asking questions that might get missed or for whatever reason. I just wanted it to be, just in real. I didn't ask questions that were maybe a little hard to talk about, which some of them were. Some of them it was just fucking weird. You know what I mean? So, but it was good, man. He's a great fucking dude. I like him a lot, and we've been talking ever since. We text every like every week or so, and just hey man, how you doing? And it's just so it's good.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a lot of fun watching you guys bond and watching you guys both commiserate about the timing of certain songs. So it was a really fun interview. And actually, I spoke to because I missed actually the boat because it was available for 48 hours and wasn't available. So I spoke to the guys. And then I was able to get access to it. They said it's going to be available. I don't know if you've heard something different, Rob. If you can, but they said it's going to be available on Amazon Prime coming up in 7 half-hour episodes. So I don't know. I
I
don't know what you've
guess
heard.
I really have nothing to do with it. I just did the interview and they're doing whatever they're doing. I
Right.
just I don't have anything to do with any of that, and so but whatever they do is cool. It was good. I mean, it was a long time coming. We tried to do it back in like March, but COVID fucked it all up, so we had to reschedule it. So, but it all
Yeah.
worked out.
Yeah, no, I'm saying I encourage Exodus fans and metal fans and everyone who's involved should absolutely go and check it out because it's really I learned a lot, and I know Zetro said he learned a lot. He learned about Exodus, so that's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
What's fucked up is ended up being like 5 hours. So I
Wow.
think at some point they're gonna let the whole thing go because they edited it down so people would watch it. So, but I think at some point they were like, yeah, we're just gonna put the whole fucking thing on like YouTube or whatever and let it all, and so people can watch the whole thing because there was a lot of stuff they left out. We went in depth on every album and almost every song. Not every song, but we talked about all the highlights of the songs. We talked a lot about growing up and how I got into metal music and all that, and just like that was very like we spent a lot of time doing that, and then we went through like I said each album. We went through like Let There Be Blood, and then we finally got to the end. We talked about all right, let's talk about Blood In Blood Out, and then we fucking talked about it, and I was just trying to be honest. I was trying to just be. I wasn't trying to save face with anyone or bullshit anyone. I'm just it is what it is, and you know what, man. Me and all the guys are good. It is what it is, and I'm not gonna live the rest of my life with some kind of weird animosity or weird unsaid thing. And before I did that show at the chapel a couple years ago, we all sat down and talked about it and worked it all out. And I felt good when I walked up on stage that night and sang the songs I sang because it was all I just made peace with it all and was moving on with my life, and it was good, man. So
Sounds good, man. So really quickly, yeah, I mean, you guys talked about the chapel. Can you just tell people out there what was the chapel show all about? What was that
it was
event?
just me and Rick and Paul Bostaff and all the members that had been in Exodus at one point got up on stage, and I did like 5 songs that I had written with Exodus. So I did those, and I did my favorite song of Bonded, which was Deliver, and No Love. I don't think we did No Love. I think we wanted to, but we decided to do Deliver instead. And then we just had it was just a fun time. And we just had a fucking blast. Hung out for 2 days with everybody, and got to we sat down and ate dinner and fucking went swimming and hung out at the same hotel and just bullshitted and drank coffee and it was fucking fun. So yeah.
Excellent. All right, Rich, what do you got?
So, well, going back to the thing with Zetro, if you go to YouTube, do you know about this? Because on YouTube, it's got like an ad for it, and then it says December 26th, but there's nothing else about it on his YouTube channel. Do you know if that's going to be updated at all before the what'd you
I have
say?
no
What'd you
idea.
say, Jack? It's going to be? You don't know?
I have
I
no
know
idea.
the Greyhaven Media said it's going to be. I'm checking my notes. It said it's going to be 7 half-hour episodes on Amazon Prime, and eventually it's going to be on the Toxic Vault. But,
Okay. So what we see on YouTube right now is not going to be updated until it happens in this other broken up part that they're doing through Amazon.
yeah, that's as much as I know. Yeah, I guess so. But but I did. Yeah, I will say people either check it out that way. Keep your eyes on Amazon Prime,
Okay.
or keep your eye on the Toxic Vault.
Okay. So I'll go back to my question then. So Shovelhead came out a year after Tempo of the Dam. So were the songs written for Zetro to sing for that Shovelhead, or that was intended
No.
all for you when you came in?
No. When I joined, they had nothing, and me and Gary, actually Tom and Rick were still in the band, and we actually did a demo. We did a demo of 4 songs. I Am Abomination, and then a couple others. I think Going, Gone, and so after they had got me in the band and we got together, we did that demo, and then Gary started writing the songs. He had riffs and stuff, but everything was kind of new as far as I remember. Everything was new, and it was like, okay, we got a new band, and then Tom quit, so they brought Bosaf in, which changed the whole feel of everything. And then Rick quit and Lee came in and did I think actually Gary did all the rhythms on the record, and Lee came in and did his solos, and then joined the band, and then we went on tour like 2 months later. We did like 3 weeks of rehearsals, and then went on tour with 3 Inches of Blood and Crisis and another Oakland band that I don't remember their name. It wasn't Every Time I Die. I forget what it was, but they were fucking great. I remember Pat and Sonny, the 2 guys in the band, but I don't remember the name of the band, unfortunately. But yeah, so everything was new, and Shovelhead, the song, was actually written as an afterthought. It was like we had one more day of rehearsals before we were going to go in track, and then it was like, let's just bang this out and do it, and that's the way we did that one. It was fucking great. So.
Nice.
So is that album is almost like a transition album then for you guys?
Yeah, it was the only one with Paul, because then Paul left after that tour cycle, and then Tom came back, and then we started working on Exhibit A. So, yeah, it was like we did, I think, like 18 months of touring here, almost 2 years of touring with Shovelhead, and we started out we were doing like an hour and 45-minute sets, dude. It was fucking crazy, and then that got pushed down to like an hour 20. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, that's a lot on your voice, right? I mean, because it's not like you're singing like light Tiny Tim stuff. I mean, you're going all out.
It really was. It was trial by fire for sure, man. So fucking. Yeah, I had a rough time, dude. I had a hard time singing those songs because it's a lot to one, never really done it before, and then being on stage with bad monitors, the crowd, all the other things going on around you. You can't hear the guitar, you can't hear what you need to hear, and learning all the trials and tribulations of being a touring musician. I was learning on the fly, and then I was trying to figure out what to say and what not to say to the crowd, and and fucking that up constantly. So
Is that when you get the stepdad Lex, whatever? Like you and Zetro talk about it, how like when you fucked up either during a song or in your banter, that you'd get that look from Gary Holt. Is that
the disappointed stepfather look? That's what I always get from Gary. I can't believe you just said that. I'll just shake his head. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
But again, it's Exodus. I mean, you gotta expect some fire, right?
Yeah, most of the time it was, because I didn't have like a thing to say every show. Like it was always what happened that day or that morning or the night before. Like I always talked about like what was currently happening, and a lot of times, especially when it's like inside stuff that has nothing to do, the crowd doesn't know what the fuck we're talking about. I remember one was the swine flu was happening, and I remember I go, yeah, I probably got it. I mean, I fucked a few pigs in my day, and then that was like, yeah, don't say that anymore. And then I just kept saying it, making it funnier, trying to make a joke and making it even funnier. So, yeah.
So you're not a shy person. I think we've established that.
No, not at all, man. Not at all.
Can you tell it? I mean, it's Rich. I don't want to. You take the next one. Rich, Rob, can you tell us a little bit about how you got into one of the biggest thrash bands of all time? Like, tell us a little. This is kind of a cool story. I know you went over a little bit with that show, but how did you end up being the new singer for Exodus?
Well, I was working. I was living in LA, and I was working as a guitar tech for like a bunch of different bands. I was like doing tours and doing whatever bands that were like around, and I was just always keeping busy doing that. And I had no desire actually at that point to actually even be in a band. I was really just kind of I was making money and doing just doing that and having fun. You know what I mean? I was living in LA, lived in a cool spot over near Venice, and you know, and then I got on the Metal Exodus tour, and they had Steve from Skin Lab was singing because Zetro had just quit, and so at the last show, I got up and I butchered a song, and then but you know, there was like this camaraderie once I got on the bus because I had seen Exodus years before a bunch of times, and we were talking about that when I got on the bus, and it just was like this. I was like instant family, like, you know what I mean. And so I think that that camaraderie, that you know, that helped them to call me and go, hey, why don't you come out and just give it a shot. So but as soon as I mean, Gary called me right around Christmas, and I was in the middle of getting a tattoo, and I said, hold on, let me take this phone call. I took it, and it was Gary and Tom, and they said, yeah, come out and audition. I said, okay. And so in like early January, I went out there, and as soon as I hung up the phone, I was like, hey man, I'm gonna be the new singer of Exodus, because in my head I was like, can't be that fucking hard, you know what I mean? But the truth is, it's actually kind of a difficult job. It really was. It didn't, you know, singing along to a CD is a lot different than singing with a microphone in your hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's completely different. So anyway, but the challenge was there, and I'm okay with challenging myself, and that's what I did. I just said, fuck it, I'll do it. You know, and I got lucky, right place, right time, and just enough talent to pull it off, and that was it. So.
Did you have any live singing experience before Exodus?
I was in bands. I mean, I was a guitar player in like punk rock bands and you know, kind of rock bands, but I'd never, not on this level, man. I mean, I did 3 shows with my friend Craig Safola that I did. We did 3 shows over like 2 years, and it was just always just me and us and our friends, you know, were there, and that was it. And it was some dingy bar in Nyack, New York, and and we just did it for fun. We did lots of covers, and we did, you know, just to kind of have a good time, and that's kind of what it was. And then, so I like I said, my aspirations were not really. I wasn't looking to be in a band. I wasn't in LA chasing that dream. I kind of consulted, or just kind of. I was okay with what I was doing. I was okay being a guitar tech and being in the back and just, you know, fixing guitars and setting up bands and hanging out with bands and, you know, all the benefits that come with that. You know, I worked nights. I could fucking hang out at the beach during the day and ride my motorcycle, and you know, and I just, you know, I could do a tour and then work for 3 weeks and then come home and take a week off and then take a motorcycle trip to, you know, you know, up the coast or whatever the fuck I was doing. I was always doing something, and then Exodus came along, and it was just something that happened. It was fucking cool, you know. So. Yeah.
That's trial by fire.
Yeah. Yeah, bro.
So Patty Adams says, "Howdy, guys." We got our, you know, there on the screen. So yeah, I mean, that is a hell of a story, though. That's seriously, that's pretty cool. So,
pretty funny.
You know, again, yeah, you know, you and Zetro talk about some of the songs, but I mean, let's talk right now about some of your absolute favorites from the whole catalog, from all the eras of Exodus. Your favorite songs to do live, or even favorite songs to listen to. Either one. Answer either question however you want. But yeah, just some of your favorite Exodus.
Well, the Exodus. I mean, I always love Bonded. I mean, No Love was one of my favorites. Deliver was another favorite. But I like that whole album, man. I even liked Metal Command. I like the whole vibe of the record. It was dark and it was sinister, and it was a little different than what Anthrax was doing. Or they were kind of like tongue in cheek kind of stuff, and I never liked any of that stuff. And I always cared about the lyrics being deep and meaning something, and so, you know, that was always cool. And then, you know, as their records progressed, I mean, I lost interest around Impact is Imminent, and then but I changed too. I started listening to more punk rock. I started listening to more just everything. I was listening to just dirt. I loved Caius. I found Caius and like Orange Goblin right around '94. So I was listening to a lot of dirt, desert, stoner rock, and then I also, went. I liked, always, I just said this the other day. I was listening to Pink Floyd the other day, and I go, "This it? Is this my life? The rest of my life, I'm just gonna listen to Pink Floyd records and fucking Hendrix and all the things that I've always loved. What are these my go-to albums that I'm gonna go to when I'm sitting around smoking a cigar by myself and listening to music? And am I gonna put on? I put on, Dark Side of the Moon, which I've heard, fucking 100,000 fucking times, but it still captures me every time I listen to it. And Exodus had that too. I mean, I was, I was a little younger than those guys, so like they were huge to me, man. So but you know, I was still listening to Metallica and Priest, but I liked all the. I mean, I still love Priest, but I it's like with Rush, right? With those bands, they also capture a moment in time. That's why people love what they love so much, is because for a moment in time of their life, that's what it reminds them of. And I'm the same way, man. I didn't listen to Rush after Power Windows. I stopped listening because I would rather listen to Crest of Steel. Like whatever they were doing, it might be fucking awesome, which it probably is. But I was at a different time in my life where it didn't capture me as much, But I still buy vinyl. I still buy records, and I like the last record I bought that really captured me was the new Tool record. When that thing came out, man, I went home, I shut off the lights, I lit a fucking candle, and I put my headphones on, my good headphones, and I plugged that fucking in, and I listened to it twice, back to back, and and I still do that with records. I still I listen to records in their entirety. The other day I listened to "Waiting for the Sun" by The Doors from beginning to end. But I hadn't listened to it in a long time, and I was like, oh, I love this album, and I put it on and lit up a cigar, and that's what I did, man. And so, but as far as Exodus goes, man, everything that like Tempo of the Dam was fucking great. Um, uh, you know, the songs that we played off it were "Scar," which was fucking awesome, and "Where's My Shepherd," and but then we did mostly like when I was in the band, we mostly did the new stuff. That's kind of what we were doing. Like we almost playing almost the entire records every time we made one. We'd go out and play everything. We played the Garden of Bleeding. There was only a handful of songs that we were like, well, we're never going to play that live. It was either, we just, it's too hard to fit in every song along with Half a Bonded and the stuff off Tempo and Pleasures and Fabulous. So we had to like each tour, we had to kind of mix it up and do certain songs. And I always got to pick ones I really liked. I never had to sing a song I didn't like, which was perfect. You know what I mean? It was like, and I can't say there's many Exodus songs I don't like. I actually haven't listened to Impact enough to be to dissuade either way. I don't know if I don't like it or if I like it. I just never listened to it, so I don't really know. So maybe I'll get to it one day.
All right. Well, that's I got it.
Did I answer the question? Sometimes I go on a tangent and I don't.
Well, this is what it's all about, man. Yeah. Well, so I got to ask then. So, Low Rider, yay or nay? The most divisive song maybe in all of thrash history.
I like it, but I've never sang it. I'm not a, I like War's version better, but I don't dislike the Exodus version. When it comes out, I'm like, it's funny, But it's like one of those songs like when the first time you heard it, like, oh, that's cool, and then the 10th time you've heard it, you're like, So it's like hearing the intro, like that when a band puts a real long intro to a song and you have to listen to it every time, and you wish they had made it a track that you could skip because you've already heard it once, and it's not funny anymore. It's just a fucking annoyance. So yeah.
Right. All right. Perfect answer. All right. Go ahead, Reg.
Okay, so I have the Shovel-Headed tour DVD.
Yeah.
So how intimidating was it to play Wacken in Germany?
It was nothing, dude. I mean, by that time we were a
Really?
fucking machine. Yeah, we were a machine,
Oh, okay.
dude. Like, so
Because
we were on fire, dude.
given
Like, so yeah,
I
that
was
was
going to
the
say,
end of
not to
the
interrupt
tour.
you. I was going to say,
Yeah.
but given your answer that this was like trial by fire for you, sing with Exodus, to then sing in front of all those people at Vakken, I figured it'd be pretty intimidating.
Well, it was one of those things. Like that was 3 years in, so it was 2008. I'd been in the band for 3 years at this point. I already played, 400 or 500 shows up to that point. You know what I mean? Because
Oh, okay.
we were touring year round, so it was just another show. It was just the stage was bigger. That was really the whole deal. And I'd like to think that I rose to the moment because it was a big show. We had an hour to fill. We picked the set list, but we had been playing like either an hour and a half or an hour sets along that time anyway. But it was also like we were like 3 weeks into a 6-week tour. So we had been playing every night for 3 weeks. So we were on fire when that show came.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. And me and Tom are the only ones alive. Those guys went and redid all their shit, but the guitar they. But me and Tom are 100% live. It's us, dude. They couldn't mix it. It's just us. And
Oh, okay.
I thought, I think the only regret I have is as I said, motherfucker too many times. I know that this sounds like a dumb regret, but I said it. It almost loses its appeal once I've said it, 85 times, But it's just, you're so amped up, and I just.
Oh yeah,
like
that crowd was great.
Yeah, man, it was fucking awesome, dude. We had a fucking great day, and that wall of death was spur of the moment, but it happened, and it was
Crazy,
fucking
yeah.
cool as shit. Yeah, it was a crazy fucking moment. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, go ahead, Jack.
Let's shit. Well, so switching gears a little bit, I know I get from the interview and I know you're a big reader. So how does that how's that influenced your songwriting and your career and what? Tell us a little bit about what you read.
I read a lot of different stuff, man. I read, I've read pretty much a lot of the Star Wars universe stuff, and that's a big part of my reading catalog.
Cool.
But I also read I've read the Bosch series. You ever read the Bosch series? They have a TV show, Bosch, but I've read all the books, Michael Connolly. But I've read Tom Clancy, and I've read this one series I love. It's called the Necroscope series. It's Brian Lumley wrote it. It's 14 novels now. It used to be 13, but he added another one to it. And it's like sci-fi, fantasy, horror shit that's just fucking cool. And but I read a lot of history books too. I read a couple books about the America in the very beginning when about the Native Americans. And I've read right now so I got really into MK Ultra and CIA and weird experiments. I've been reading that for like the last 6 months. I've read Search for the Manchurian Candidate. I read this book called Charles Manson and the CIA. Tom O'Neill. It's this brilliant book about the CIA doing experiments on people without their knowledge while they were in prison or in a mental institution, and turning them into they were trying to create super soldiers, and they ended up like fucking burning a bunch of people out. And Charles Manson was one of them. Whitey Bulger says he's one of them that the CIA did experiments on him. And so I've been doing a lot of that reading lately. I read a lot of hockey stuff. Like I read Sean Avery's book. I read this book called Major Misconduct about fighting and the NHL. I read the Bronx Zoo about the New York Yankees when they won the World Series in the '70s, and I read some Sam Harris, and I read he's like a philosopher, and but right now I'm reading. I'm actually reading this. I just finished the Search for Manchurian Candidate, and now I'm reading Boba Fett, the Mandalorian Armor. So it's a 3-part series about the moment that Boba Fett falls into the pit and supposedly dies, but he actually gets out, and then he has to go get new armor and a new ship, and he gets saved by these other bounty hunters, and it's this three book series, which is really amazing. And so I'm reading that right now. That's where I'm at right now, because I'm gonna a guy I work with wants to read it, so I've been reading it ahead of time before. So I read one, I gave him the book, and now I'm reading two. And when he's done with one, I'll give him two, and then we'll be able to talk about it at work while we're working. We'll be able to talk about fucking Star Wars.
Are you watching him in The Mandalorian?
Oh yeah, dude, I watched it 3 times actually. I watched the whole.
So it's so good to see. It's so good to see him back and get redemption. You know.
It's killer, man. It's fucking. When I saw him in that first episode, I was like, oh yes, you know.
Yeah.
Fucking, I was like, that was Boba. I was staying in my living room by myself, standing up, screaming at the TV like a 12-year-old. Because you know when I read that stuff, I take myself back to being 10 years old when or 8 years old when that came out, and just being totally obsessed with it, and have been most of my life, man. So it's a great story, and it's good books. And the expanded universe of Star Wars is fucking awesome, and if I suggest to anybody who wants to read some really cool shit, there's a book series called like Tales of. So one is called Tales of the Bounty Hunter, which they talk about every bounty hunter from Empire Strikes Back. Then there's Tales of Mos Eisley, which is all the people that are sitting at the bar, and Mos Eisley, they all have a story. There's Tales from Jabba's Palace, Tales from Jabba's Palace, and Tales from the Death Star. So there's all these little cool fucking books that you can read. I've also read. Did you read the Kane series? It's about Kane, the first Sith. It takes a place 1,000 years.
I didn't get to that one yet.
Wars. It's a 3-book series, and it's 1,000 years before New Hope in the timeline. And basically, when he comes into being, there's hundreds of Sith and hundreds of Jedi, and he decides that there could only be 2. So he kills all the other fucking Sith and becomes him and one other one. Dude, it's fucking amazing. It's such a good book. So it's called Darth Bane is the name of the series. That's the name of the character. I don't remember the name of the book offhand, but Darth Bane. If you look that up, you'll find it. So
all right,
cool.
Man.
So one word. Thrawn. Yeah. Grand Admiral. Yeah, he's coming. He's going to be in Mandalorian, right? Or the Ahsoka show.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I know that they're doing the book. They're doing the story from the moment Darth Vader gets out of the pit and wakes up in the suit. I hear they're going to do a story of that for the next 20 years when he shows up when Luke's 20. So they're going to talk about Darth Vader building this. You ever read The Rise of Darth Vader where he builds the suit? No. Because remember, so he was a tinker. He built C-3PO and he was always building shit, right? Well, the suit they put him in sucks. So he actually builds his own suit with the help of the dark side, so he can be better. So his arms are better and his legs are stronger, and he's faster. So he can be. So he creates these like practice droids to fight him with a lightsaber, and then he sets them on. So they have a do not kill thing on them, so they don't kill him by accident. And then he turns it all off, and then he starts killing them all. He destroys them all, and that's when he knew he was done. That's when he knows, oh, I'm fucking done now. So my suit's the shit. So anyway, that's a good book too. So
so I'll recommend. I know we're
nerding out on a metal podcast.
That's awesome.
I know. Well, we started. Yeah, I got more. Actually, I'm gonna change gears because I was gonna geek out and say like, oh, there's more stuff. But you know what? We'll.
That's another interview. Just Star Wars talk. Just do Star Wars talk.
Right, we lost some viewers, so we'll get back to the metal. No, it's all good. It's all good. This is exactly how it's supposed to go. It should be organic. We're not gonna. It's not like a Q&A thing. But no, that's awesome. Anyway, I think it's awesome that that you're into this shit, and it's cool. Like I know you talked about it a little bit with Zetro. I know some of this stuff makes its way into your lyrics too, which is cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, most of the stuff, it was like, Leonard and Charles, the true story I read about these 2 killers in California, and I read a couple books about Islam, and that's what inspired Children Were Worthless God. So, and like all the Generation Kill stuff that I've written is all it's all stuff I read or like I wrote a couple stories, like a couple short stories, and those short stories made their way into lyrics, and basically that's just how I just kind of that's how I do it. So.
Cool. All right, Rich, go ahead. I know you got more questions. I got a bunch
Okay.
too.
So your thoughts when you look back on Let There Be Blood, the Bonded by Blood re-recording, do you feel it's sacrilegious or just fun?
It was just fun, man, and people that hey, look, man, I get it. You know what I mean? I do. I get it. If somebody, if Brian, if David Gilmour decided to re-record fucking, Dark Side of the Moon right now, it would probably be better, but it would be different. You know what I mean? So, you know,
Yeah.
my, the one thing is that it was originally supposed to be done live. We just at the time didn't have the money to do it live, so we did it in a studio, and it is what it is, man. I sang those songs for 10 years, man, and I loved every single one of them. So it was an honor for me. And if you don't like it, you always have the original. You don't have to listen to it. You don't have to buy it. You don't do anything, man. Fuck it. You know what I mean? If you hate it, you hate it. I got nothing. That's all I can say is if you don't like it, don't listen to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think, yeah, it sounds great. And I listen to both, just like you said, I listen to both. So I think the new stuff sounds great. It's, better production technology, better recording. And, your voice adds different stuff. But, I love the original too. So I'm with you.
Yeah.
I love
Me
the
too.
Pink Floyd analogy because, I've seen Roger Waters live. I've seen Pink Floyd live. I've seen Pink Floyd cover bands. I love it all.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, oh, that's not the right thing. So I'm with you. But,
And if
you
you're not, that's okay too. If you don't like it, that's fine, man. You know what I mean? Like I got because I understand. I really do. I don't want like when I went and saw Rush, I wanted to see them play Crest of Steel. I didn't want to hear new shit. I don't, and I get it. But the problem with Exodus was that the new shit was way harsher and way darker than the older stuff. You know what I mean? That's why that doesn't really hold water for all the new records that Exodus was doing. I thought that we were holding our own, especially going out and opening for Slayer, and not one person was yelling Slayer during our set. Nobody was throwing shit at us. We were throwing down with it, So
Right. That's an accomplishment when you're not getting booed when you open for Slayer. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Well, you brought up Generation Kill. I definitely want to give some time for Generation Kill because I know you guys have some kick-ass stuff out. I know you have something planned for 2021. I hear.
Yeah.
So tell us. Well, let's start there. Tell us what you got coming up for Generation Kill.
Well, we got a new album. We're almost done with it. Zeus is producing it, and mixing it, and we we looked at We're All Gonna Die, and we said, okay, let's up the game and try and make songs that are on par with that or better, And we did a little more thrash than we did on the We're All Gonna Die record. Zeus kind of explained to me. He goes, look, you did your little art project, and you did some arty shit, and you expanded your catalog for your singing and yourself, because that album was based on Sadwigs of Destiny. How Sadwigs is a really heavy album, but it also had some piano in it. It had some acoustic stuff, and it kind of did like a roller coaster. It went up and down, and it was, So is it getting too loud in here?
No, you're good.
No, you're good. Still hear you good.
So this album, I was just gonna go straight forward. Fuck it, we're gonna just barn burners, all of them. You know what I mean? We're just gonna rip ass and just do all of them and fucking. And that's what we've accomplished so far, man. We have one or two mid-tempo stuff, and then the rest of it is full-on thrash or rock or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But we're so that's what we're doing with it. And it's heavy, it's dark, it's there's a lot of dark imagery in the lyrics, and I'm really proud of it, man. I'm really proud of my boys. They've been throwing it down big time, like just able to just send me music that's just it's just fucking killer. So
Excellent. So, any idea when that's coming out? Just a couple of months or middle of the year?
Well, we just signed a digital contract with Blood Blast, which is a derivative of Nuclear Blast. So it's going to come out on digital and we don't have a specific date. I think they're looking at releasing a single. Don't quote me on this, but I think like the first single could be either like February. So,
Wow. Okay.
yeah. And then the record out during the summer. You know.
Cool.
How do you or how would you explain what differentiates Generation Kill and your time with Exodus, since you have thrashy songs? Is it like the hardcore choruses that are more prevalent in Generation Kill, or something else?
It was more like, if you listened to "We're All Gonna Die," like the songs are a little, they're not thrash because but there's still a lot of melody in it, and there's still a lot of it's different. It's not Exodus.
Mhm.
But I have that element in me, so I used it from time to time. I did focus more on the choruses that you're able to sing along with, and some of the me and Gary write lyrics differently. Gary writes the lyrics and then fits them to the music, and I write the melody and then fit the lyrics to the melody. So we differ that way. So it kind of this one's I'm not gonna say it's more listenable, but it's just more it's just different. It's just different. But the thrash stuff is gonna be pure thrash. It's just going back to my old because I was listening to thrash at the beginning, so I've been living with it my whole life. So I just took bits and pieces from all my heroes and did my own thing with it. So
Cool.
Yeah.
You got anything, Rich?
What's that?
Well then, so now, can you tell us a little bit about how Generation Kill and Fragile Mortals? What's the relationship there, and are we going to get any more appearances from DMC?
not on this stuff, man. I mean, I don't know if I'll work on them again. Like it was. We might do something, but we're friends, so it was kind of like, we met at a show, and then said, hey, let's write a song from. Originally we were going to write for his record, and then we just ended up having a good time and just ended up kept writing and stuff. And I wasn't trying to cross over metal with rock or we were just trying to do. Look, I was just hanging out with a fucking living legend and having fun, and it was. We didn't do this for anyone else other than myself. I mean, Daryl's a really, really great human being, and he's my friend. So what we did was we wrote songs that he could be a part of, and then and one song led to two, and two led to three, and four, and so on. You know what I mean? And some of them were great, some of them missed, and some of them were fine, some of them were but it was always fun, and we're always laughing, and we always had a good time, and I mean, I recorded a record with a guy who's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, who's a living fucking legend from Queens, New York, and why would I say no at that? And he's a really great, like I said, he's just a great human being, and we had fun, and I did it for myself, and there's a couple tracks in there I'm really proud of. Lot Lizard being my favorite. Lot Lizard is the first song we did, and it was I thought it had it was weird and cool and fun, and it was funny, and it was dark and it was fucked up, and I wrote some fucked up lyrics for it, and he went along with it. So I tried to ruin his career, but it didn't work. So
Yeah, no, I know that one is kind of it is funny.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I got a couple more. I know we got a couple more minutes. Go ahead, Rich. What do you got?
What is Blood Moon Ritual?
Blood Moon Ritual was a band that I was going to start with some guys here in Arizona, and it never panned out because it just the logistics of it. One guy was living in LA, one guy lives in New Mexico, and it just never worked out. I wish it did. It would have been fun as shit. It was something to do while I'm living here in Arizona for fun, but it kind of just went away. Everybody just went on with their lives and just did other shit. So, but it would have been fun, but it never came together. So
Great. It's a great name.
yeah, we had a bunch of them, man. We spent months arguing back and forth about what the name was going to be, and it ended up with that. It was really just, let's just go with that. Fuck it, I'm sick of arguing about it. So, yeah.
Well, that's a good song title then. There you go. It can be a song title.
Yeah, you said a song title, right?
Yeah.
I
had an album cover all too. I had an album cover too. It was like the Aztec one with the dude like with the chick and the fucking blood all over the altar and fucking. That was gonna be the cover. It was gonna be killer, but yeah. But anyway, moving on.
So I gotta ask. We can't not ask. So you gotta tell. I know you have some good Gary Holt stories. You gotta tell. Give us some one or two good Gary Holt stories, because he's another one. He's a living fucking legend. Who's just also a character.
Fucking Gary Holt. Yeah, man. I talk about it on the Zed. I just, look, I love the guy to death. He loves me. We're brothers, but we also fought like brothers, man. We had moments where we just we butt heads, and it was always over something silly. It was never really mean or never came to fisticuffs or anything like that. It was always just screaming, a lot of fucking go fuck yourselves and fuck you, and but there was one night. So we were in like Venezuela or something, and we were drinking. I wasn't drinking, but those guys were drinking because I don't drink alcohol. So they were drinking on stage, and they were a little bit lit up. Not bad though. They were just anyway. I'm not gonna blame it on alcohol, but whatever happened on stage, I wasn't aware of it. All I know is that Gary and Lee got into this fucking argument, and Lee was so mad. He's like, "Fuck this! I'm quitting this fucking band." And blah, blah. So we're all in the dressing room, and I just took all my clothes off, and I just stood in front of Lee and Gary like Superman, my hands on my hips, naked, just standing there. And I go, "What are you guys arguing about?" And they're trying to be mad, and I'm standing there with my dick hanging out, just and what are you guys mad about? Like, what are you fighting about? And they, for them to try to be mad and keep a straight face, and they couldn't. And so I started doing that all the time. I stopped clothes backstage and made everyone uncomfortable. I would do all my interviews naked and just making people feel uncomfortable. Something fun to do. Yeah.
Nice.
Funny. It's good.
All right, Rich. Yeah, why don't you? I'll say we'll wrap up in a couple of minutes. But Rich, why don't you ask a couple more questions? And if you're watching out there, I know we have people watching on a couple different channels. Feel free to ask some questions. But Rich, go ahead. Want to ask a last one?
If I can get this in the frame, can you tell us the difference? Why there's two different covers for the Atrocity?
I don't know. I can't answer that question. I think they were afraid of Walmart or something. I don't know. I don't know. If you ask me, my serious answer is I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. I was figuring this is probably the worst Atrocity because it looks worse than what's going on down here, right?
I don't know. I mean, one slipped inside the other, right? Isn't that how that came?
Yeah, this was this goes inside. Yeah, it's the CD cover. Yep.
I don't know the idea behind it. You'd have to ask Gary. I think if you're gonna ask me for my interpretation, it's like, okay, this is what everyone sees when they look at religion and they look at that, right? That's what they see. They see this divine thing. But when you when you take the cover off and look at it for real, it's the other thing. Yeah, it's that.
Oh, okay.
So that's my interpretation of it. But I never knew. I never asked, or I didn't know why. I for some reason I didn't ask.
Yeah.
I should text someone and ask them why. I really think it's because of Walmart.
Could be.
That's a pretty deep answer there, Rob. That's pretty good.
That's a good answer. I like that. Yeah.
It's
almost like a Tool album where you look at the cover, you go like, oh, that's kind of fucked up. And you open it, you go, oh my God, what the fuck?
Yeah. Alex Gray, fucking with your mind. Eat mushrooms. Yeah.
But all right, well, I want to say, best of luck with Generation Kill this year. Looking forward to the new stuff, and congratulations on a great career, man. I love the albums you did with Exodus, and just cool shit, man. And hopefully, you can go on tour. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully it'll be live hockey back again. Hopefully it'll be live shows back again and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you have? I guess
14
what's
days
it?
to hockey. Fucking A. 14
Yeah, that's
days.
true.
Yeah.
But are you actually? So I guess that's a kind of Rich and I usually ask this to folks. Are you going to do any kind of live streams or anything to promote Generation Kill? Any kind of live online or live shows? What do you have up your
I don't know,
sleeve?
man. You know, CKY just did it, man. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, man. And like, that sounds like, you know, you get in a jam room, you fucking play, and then you have cameras on. Like, yeah, like that sounds like fun. You know what I mean? But you know, right now, dude, we're trying to finish the record. We have a couple more songs left to record. We wrote them, and then COVID's fucking everything up. So we're just kind of trying to get the last couple songs done, and we're doing one weird cover song. I'm not going to name it, but we're doing one really obscure, weird song that we're doing for a cover, you know, just for fun. And but to be able to go ahead and do a lot like live streams, if we're not going to do live, then I guess everyone's going to have to do that. I guess I don't fucking so. See you later, man.
Right.
So, but I don't know. I don't know what's in the works. I know we made two music videos, and we're just gonna see how it plays out. You know what I mean? Because they were like talking about like you know, 20 million people are supposed to have the vaccine now, 2 million died. At this point, it's gonna take 10 years to get a fucking vaccine. So I don't know when the world's gonna open up. I don't know if this summer's gonna work. But I'm hoping that the fall works. Maybe they'll have it by the end of the summer. Like maybe the fall and the winter, next winter can work, and we can go out on tour and do our thing, and you know. So
Yeah.
I hear you, man. All right. Well, like I said, I'll let you guys have the last word. But I'll just say again, Rob, thank you so much. I know our schedules got a little weird, but we appreciate you making time.
Yeah,
out.
thanks.
that was my fault.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching, and thanks for Rob Dukes. You know, like I said, best of luck to you in the future. And we'll let you have the final word, man. Take us out.
Yeah,
well, you know,
take us out.
When the record comes out, I'll come back on. We'll talk about it after you guys hear it and all that, and we'll get you. We'll talk about it again. And look, man, read some books, do mushrooms, and be happy. Yeah.
We'll have to do a Star Wars show, I think, in the future.
Yeah. Well, they're doing 3, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, man. So.
Yeah.
Talk Star Wars next time.
Gotta wait a fucking year though. So well, you can do a lot of reading until then. So there you go.
Right.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah, man. So.
All right. Thanks everyone for watching.
All right, people.
All right.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah. Happy New Year.